So we've been researching care, inequalities and wellbeing in transnational families living in the UK, Spain, France and Sweden. And we've been working with community researchers from refugee and other migrant backgrounds to do interviews and participatory activities with transnational families, different generations of those families. And we mean by that families where one or more family members are spread in different countries, but they still have a strong sense of belonging to the family.
In Spain, we have implemented a PhotoVoice methodology with the participation of 5 community researchers from Colombia, Ecuador, Morocco, Senegal, and Algeria. A training was given, and the question that would guide the project was discussed in a workshop. How is the family care for in Spain and in the country of origin? Based on this question, the community researchers took photos that were discussed in a joint session. 2 other workshops, one with immigrant men and one with immigrant women, were organized and animated by the community researchers. We are working on a collage with all the collected photos that will be published on the internet. Each photo will carry a narrative and a title. The technique brought to light previously unidentified aspects of transnational care, such as the community care of the Senegalese migrants who, for months, stored things such as clothes, medicines, etc., in storage rooms to send them together in containers.
We have partnered with the Swedish church in Lund. We have worked with 6 peer researchers who knew each other from before. 4 of them spoke Arabic and 2 of them Dari. Each reached out to transnational families with similar backgrounds. So the interviewees came from Syria, Iraq, Sudan, and Afghanistan. They arrived in Sweden as asylum seekers, resettled refugees, or through family reunification. Working with peer researchers has had clear advantages. It would have been hard for us to establish the trust needed for interviewees to share personal stories. It was also beneficial and fun that the peer researchers knew each other from a previous project. They were already an established group, and that helped a lot in getting the project going.
Frequent early meetings helped peer researchers grow into their roles. We, the researchers, got a sense of the interview topics and supported them in tricky situations. Some interviews were emotionally heavy due to the interviewees' difficult life situations. We as researchers faced different challenges, like the increased administrative load of employing peer researchers. It also took considerable time to resolve some ethical issues, like sharing and storing sensitive data, since peer researchers didn't have access to university servers.
Som mittforskare bör man ha tålamod och vara lyhörd för att vi är inte där för att bedöma folk vi träffar, istället är vi där för att lyssna på dem och lära oss av deras historier. De mesta människor vi träffar letar inte efter lösningar, utan de vill bara prata och berätta deras historia och erfarenheter. Och som mittforskare också det är ofta känsloladdat. Som mittforskare har jag intervjuat över 12 familjemedlemmar i 7 familjer under 2022.
So Rank and File work with actors with lived experience relevant to this research project. We work with refugees, asylum seekers, also with people with mental health and disability. We often find there are crossovers. For this, we're role-playing scenarios from the experience of the research participants, which resonate with the lived experience of our actors. Using the theatre of the oppressed approach, the key thing for me is that the audience, who are the research participants in this case, are active and they are able to analyse and suggest alternative choices and outcomes, which we hope try to achieve a very real change where perhaps people are facing oppression.
I got to connect and understand people's stories in ways that you don't always get to when you just talking to people on the street or anything like that. It gave people a space to really communicate in ways that I don't know, it moved me and felt like we were here learning and having meaning with each other, and I think that's something that is really valuable in its own right. It felt like a very ongoing process. It's not like doing theatre the traditional way, the usual way. It's very unique, and I think it's the way to go forward. If we're going to make theatre, why not make theatre with a purpose that reflects the difficulties that people are really experiencing?
Seeing two different scenarios and how some can relate to it, and also how you can also change circumstances from a negative to a positive, and just seeing it and acting on it was something that made me also reflect on certain situations that I go through on day to day.
For me, it's a new inside the job with real living people, and look every day the situation in street, and my new friend, and I understand it's seriously, yes, seriously problem where you not see family, parents, and not have variants what to do, and not have money and go and come back.
Have similar situation, but part family and live in Ukrainian, and not see a husband, not see another people, my family, because only call, not go to home, no go to England, people, family in the England. This have very similar situation, and every day you have a lot job, every day you work a lot time. Yes, you don't know what you have future, but very big problem situation in Ukrainian, big problem situation now in England, and every day you look in the future and don't know what you have another day, what you have tomorrow.
In the French Carol project, we have employed participatory and creative approaches, making 2 documentary films with 2 filmmakers. One of them, that I met with Luc Thauvin, has been shot with a Colombian family in the region of Marseille in France, as well as in the cities of Medellin and Bogota in Colombia, where a part of this family is located, showing the 2 sides of their family life and caring relationships. We used a partly participatory approach, integrating some ideas of the family in terms of the film content and showing the almost finalized version of the film to the family for its approval. In this documentary, the presence of the researcher and the film crew is discrete to give a central place to this family story and protagonist.
En 2 semanas estoy en Colombia.
No, yo me muero por ver ese video. Y quiero darle de antemano las gracias a ustedes por venir, por conocernos. Y esto es como escribir un libro. Yo no lo estoy escribiendo. Es una telenovela de mi familia. Es una novela, es una historia rica de contar.
Another film has been made in a rural area of Provence by our colleague Asaf Dada, with the filmmaker Gael Marsoud and a Yazidi family from Iraq. with one of the members of the family being a third co-author of the film and participating during all the film process. These two distinct approaches resulted in two quite different films that we are happy to share to researchers, students, and the more larger public interested in the topics of migration and family care relationships.
شيب القسم الوقازي كيف فرش حزازي تلفي كركنا كجي دبجهي تمرازي وباركش كدرازي
The participatory approaches we adopted in Spain, Sweden, the UK and France allowed us to work with a wide range of transnational families and brought many benefits to the research. Working in partnership with peer researchers and participants allowed us to build trust with transnational family members and gain access to family spaces that are often private, both locally and in other countries. This would have been much more difficult to achieve by adopting conventional research methods as academic researchers. It reduced language, cultural and social barriers and was a fruitful way of gaining insight into children's and adults' intergenerational caring roles. It also helped to build capacity within diverse migrant and refugee communities. Participatory methods such as PhotoVoice, Theatre of the Oppressed, and co-produced films and documentaries provided opportunities for dialogue and empowerment among participants, policymakers, and practitioners. They enable participants to realize how their contributions can help inform policy, practice, and research agendas and achieve social change. Participatory research with transnational families, however, requires realistic research timelines and sufficient resources. Time and resources are needed to allow for genuine collaboration and co-production among all research partners, to adequately remunerate the labor and time invested by partner organizations and peer researchers and other stakeholders, to provide enough time for training and support, to adapt to unexpected issues, and to guarantee the ethical and safety needs of all those involved.